Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about spider mites. Now I know I said in my previous video that fungus flies are the most annoying pest to have in your home, but spider mites are hands down more destructive. And it's even worse because you can't even see them unless you actively look. In true Cloudgardener UK style, I am going to make sure that we go through the life cycle first, because as always I think it's really important to understand what spider mites are and their biology. Then we know exactly what we need to do in terms of defeating them. So let's get straight into it.
Spider mites have 5 phases: eggs, larvae, nymphs, and adult phases. Much like aphids, they have piercing mouthparts that extract sap and other nutrients from the leaves. They can reproduce sexually or asexually. Eggs that have not been fertilized will be males. They prefer warm and dry conditions. Each female can lay up to 100 eggs in her 2 to 3 week lifespan. But interestingly enough, if the conditions are right and it's warm enough, they can speed up their own life cycle and go from egg to adult within 7 to 10 days. Now these were my sunflower babies. I think the operative word there was were. When they get to nymph stages, they can create webs and they just make themselves their own little highways. They use these webs to get around and to get themselves to other plants. Or they get inventive. Look at these heifers using my damn grow lights as the M25. These guys have actually made traffic lanes as well. This grow light of mine spans across 2 shelves, so they were able to infect everything on 2 shelves, and I had to discard all my plants for this season. You know, 4 months on and then watching back this footage, I am not bitter at all. Kill them all.
Now before we get into the how do we get rid of the spider mites, first of all I just want to say thank you to all of you who have just subscribed to the channel. We are well on the way of achieving our goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of September. Let me show you how to get rid of these beasts.
Now this was one of my prized possessions. It was a white star calathea. Now I began to see some discoloration in the leaves and some shriveled up leaves, and stupidly I thought it's maybe due to overwatering and then underwatering, until I actually took a closer look at the leaf. And look at what I found. These guys are literally living their best life on my expensive plant. I wouldn't even mind, it wasn't just on one leaf. No, it was all over. Under the leaf, down the stalks, on multiple leaves. The plant is literally infested.
You're going to need to grab yourself some equipment. So you're going to need a spray bottle, some water, some alcohol rub, some dish soap. Also, you're going to need something like a makeup brush. The bristles on this brush need to be soft but also hard at the same time. You need to try and find that balance.
Now it's time to get our Hermione Granger on and make ourselves a potion to get rid of these damn beasts. Now you want your solution to be 9/10 water, then the last 1/10 would be your alcohol rub. You then need to give your solution a good stir. Once it's stirred, pour it into your spray bottle and then add in your dish soap. If you add in your dish soap too early, you end up making a whole load of foam and it just makes a mess.
Top tip, make sure that you test out your solution on one leaf of each of your plants that you're going to do this on, because every plant will react in a completely different way.
Now this is where your brush comes in. You want to make sure that your strokes aren't hard enough to cause any damage, but Jason, YouTube is definitely not going to monetize this video. Okay. But you want to make sure that you get your brush into all of the cracks. Anyway, so you want to make sure that you're using your brush to go in the same grain as the plant grows. If we think about our little science lesson, we know that these spider mites can produce sexually and asexually. Therefore, it only takes 1 or 2 of them to survive before they recolonize your plant.
Guys, did you know that spider mites, you don't just get in your indoor plants? No, they can be outside as well. Yes, outside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you out onto the cloud garden and I'm going to show you what has happened to some of my plants outside. It's getting a little bit dark out here, but what I'm going to do is show you my beans and you'll see how they've been affected, and I'll compare that to the new leaves that have grown so that you can see the difference between the two.
You can see the clear markings where the green chlorophyll has been removed by these pesky spider mites. These plants have already been sprayed with the solution, and as you can see, there are absolutely no more spider mites anywhere. However, the damage that they have done is quite clear. In fact, these beans have now stopped producing any flowers and have gone into leaf production mode instead. You can see the newer leaves are a little bit greener and more lush, but as you can see, I didn't manage to save all of the leaves.
But they weren't the only plants out here as well. The spider mites even attacked some of my lupins. I had cut back these lupins in the hopes that they would have a second flurry of blooms later on the summer, but that was just simply not to be. So let me show you those as well.
As you can see, it's exactly the same colour disfiguration as the beans. Because my containers on the balcony are packed in so tightly, it meant that I had to use my solution on all of the containers nearby.
If you want to see an update on Teddy, who featured in the last video, make sure you stay tuned to the end and I'll show you what happened to him. But getting back to this one, it's been around about a week or so since I've applied that solution to the leaves on this one, and she's beginning to look a little bit better. Not great, but better. What I did was snip off all of the damaged leaves and I gave it a really good fertilizer at its next watering. So I'm hoping that in the next 1 or 2 weeks or so it's going to start to bounce back and hopefully produce some new leaves. What I'll do is I'll make sure to do some stories on my Instagram just so that you can see a little bit of its recovery. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to click that subscribe button and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye! As you can see, he's made a full recovery. This leaf is the biggest one yet. It is huge. Just to put it into perspective, it's massive, but it's kind of stuck here. So I'm waiting for it to grow up a little bit more, but it's just been sat there for some time. But you know what, it is what it is. He's safe and he is happy again. Last video I also showed you one of my giant elephant ears. I've called her Lucy, and Lucy has a brand new leaf as well. I'm so excited. Let me show you this new leaf too.
Lucy has the biggest leaves out of all of my plants, so I cannot wait to see how big this new leaf is.
Make sure to put some updates into my next video as well for you. See you again soon. Bye!